Daily Devotionals with open hearts and open minds. First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado presents Hope and Coffee with Pastor Hugo Venegas.
Hi, welcome back to Hope and Coffee. Welcome back to another week of Hope and Coffee. We're studying the faces of hope from Genesis chapter 6 all the way to 12. And let me ask you a question. Where did you come from? Yes, you. Where did you come from? Do you know where you came from? Well, you have heard me talk about the story last year. My daughter, Megan, my oldest daughter, texted me when I was on a mission trip. I got the text message and she said, "Dad, I am not Hispanic." So I texted her back and I said, "What are you?" She said, "I took a genetic test and I discovered that I am African, not Latina." And then we had a conversation, and you know that I took the 23andMe test, and I was shocked when I discovered that I am 48% African. So I'm not your Latino pastor, I'm your African pastor. And I discovered that my ancestors came from West Africa, and specifically from Nigeria, probably Ghana, and Sierra Leone. That's where my ancestors came. I also found out that I am 29% European, and specifically not from the Scandinavian countries, but from the southern countries, from Spain and Portuguese. I also found out that I am almost 20% Native American. I'm more Native American than Elizabeth Warren, 19.8%. And it says where I came from, the Native American parts, and this is the results of the 23andMe. So we're studying now in chapter 10 of Genesis, which talks about the table of nations. And the face of hope that I want to give you is the plan of God. Yes, the plan of God. That whenever we understand what God's plan is for us, where we came from, and where we are going, that is the plan of God. He has a plan that tells us where we came from and where we are going. And that's what we're going to be studying this week. The plan of God. So if you have your Bibles, I want you to go to Genesis chapter 10 and verse 1. It says here, "This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood." So the whole thing in chapter 10, you're going to see all the sons of Noah and their sons, and it's called the Table of Nations. And what the Bible wants us to know is that God has a plan. For remember that he destroyed the earth because there was violence, there was evil, and he only spared Noah and his family. There were 8 total, and he's coming now to reboot his plan. And remember, his plan was originally given to Adam. So multiply, replenish the earth, take control of creation, spread out, and be fruitful. That was the plan. And then people started doing evil, and God says, that's not my part of the plan. So he wiped them out, reboot. Noah now is going to start. And what Genesis chapter 10 is telling us, that the table of nations, there are 70, according to scholars, there are 70 nations which came out as a result of the descendants of the sons of Noah. And that's why in verse 32 of chapter 10, you can see all the who begat one, who was related to whom. And I'm not going to read all of that because it's a lot of weird names that we don't all know how to pronounce. But the point that I want to make is that they multiplied and they spread out. And this is the conclusion of verse 32. "These are the clans of Noah's sons according to their lines of descent within their nations. From these the nations spread out over the earth after the flood." See, the plan of God is being done. Noah was obedient to God. Noah did exactly what God wanted him to do. His sons did exactly what God wanted them to do. And out of his 3 sons came 70 nations that spread out, and they did exactly what God has asked them to do. Now, I want you to know something. This is where hope comes. Hope comes in the fact that the family tree of Noah is the origin of the nations. That all the nations that we have on the planet can go back to Noah. He was the one who was the origin of God's plan to establish nations all the world. So we have two lessons to learn from chapter 10 right off the bat. Number one, we are all related. We are all related. We're all descendants of Noah. We're all related. And the second thing is, we are one. That is what the Bible wants to make clear in Genesis chapter 10. We're all related and we are all one. Now, why do we have so many problems in our culture? Why do we have so many problems in our world? Because we think we're not related. I'm not you. You are not me. And we think we're not one. Even in the United States, one nation, indivisible, under God, and we don't act that way. And around our world, you look what's happening in China with Hong Kong and Taiwan. We are all Chinese. No, we are not. We are different. We are from Hong Kong. We are from Taiwan. We see the same thing happening in the Middle East. I am Muslim. I am Jewish. Oh, I'm Christian. And we see all the turmoil that is happening around our world is because we ignore the two truths that is being established here in Genesis chapter 10. And what are those two truths? We are all related. Number two, we are one. Do you believe that? That is the hope of the nations. That has been God's plan from the very beginning. And we're going to study this week the plan of God, that we are all related and we are all one. And even my genetic test that I took, I found out that I am 0.3% Scandinavian. So that means that I am related to Truman. Yes, Truman, we are related. I am 0.3% Scandinavian. And we all go back to the same man, Noah, and we're all one. We are one. One God, one people. Hugo Venegas from Pueblo, Colorado. See you mañana.
Thank you for joining us for our daily devotional, Hope and Coffee, with Pastor Hugo Venegas. If you enjoyed today's devotion, like or subscribe below. We also welcome you to join our family at First United Methodist Church in Pueblo, Colorado. You can visit our website at firstumcpueblo.org, and we hope you continue to have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow.